this is good stewardship. I want you to consider that because you are a part of the body of Christ. You're a member of the church. That means something. You're part of this. You can try or you do it online or however, but you give towards the want. They don't make their finance. Even the congregation doesn't know how the money's being spent. I would have a real hard time wanting to give into that, not knowing where my money's going. Say convention through late Tuesday night, come home Tuesday night, and I will Wednesday night or sometime I'll give you a brief report on here's kind of what we did and here's any major changes that happened. So as a church and as a participating member of the congregation, you should have some concern as to what those state and national conventions are doing. Let's see what happens and what's going on. Because this is where this all comes back to. We see this example of good accounting and good roles and good stewardship here in this, what God gave them. And thus, we should be too. Now, you can also go and see where they gave 1,775 shekels of silver, and they used 1,775 shekels of silver. They used what God gave them. They did not sit on that for the glory of God at the tabernacle. So now that we know how they did it and what they did it with and their accounting practices, let's back up to Oholiab. I just showed you where his gifting was fine twined linen. So Oholiab's the fellow that's doing a lot of this. For the south side of the hangings of the court were of fine twined linen, 100 cubits. Their 20 pillars and their 20 bases were of. So the north and the south were 100 cubits in length. But I want you to notice that in verse 12, the west side were hangings of 50 cubits and only 10 pillars and 10 bases, and their hooks and pillars, their fillets were hangings of 15 cubits with their pillars and their bases. All of the hangings around the court were of fine twined linen. And the bases for the pillars were of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their filial fence. We're not really told how high it is, but it is 100 cubits one way and it is 50 the other way. So than the room that we're in. I think our room is about 100 foot this way and about 60 feet this way when we did our sound system. And so a little bit bigger than the room that you and I are in at the moment. And so a fabric wall width. And so basically a curtain. So you had these big pillars then they had this curtain that would hang over them or from them. And so 20 on one side and 10 the other way. It is distinct. It is different. It is easy to spot. It is easy to see. Everybody in that outside of the tabernacle would have been representative of the sinfulness of humanity. And so let's look first, before we get to those rituals though, at verse 18, because here we see the entrance to the tabernacle. Now remember, all of the sides are fine twined linen, blue and purple and scarlet yarns and fine twined linen. It was 20 cubits long. All the pegs for the tabernacle and for the court all around were I am certain, some ornament, just absolutely gorgeous artwork, right? Very, very pretty. It would have stood out as unique. Just a simple storm door would be sufficient, right? But we often would spend 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 that effect. You get the idea. Like our front door, this is a first impression. I want everybody to know that this is the front door. Okay. At my folks' house where I grew up, the back door and the front door was always confusing because we always entered. We have a really pretty front door on the other side of the house, just nobody uses it, okay? Because there's no parking there. And so there was this. The front door to the tabernacle is the only door to the tabernacle. Book of Exodus, do we see any plans or any accommodation made for right now listen, I've seen some pastors in some different churches, and the pastor's study has a private exit and entrance, right? He parks out by his office and come in by the front door. there is only one way in. And that is so significant because when we come to the New Testament and we come to our faith as New Testament believers, we realize that there is only one way in. That's the right time to say amen. Thank you. That's I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. That is what the world Jesus. They don't care. See, that's what Paul faced in Acts 17 at Mars Hill. When you tell the world that you believe in Jesus, that's fine. They don't care. It doesn't bother them that you believe in Jesus. When you claim that Jesus is the only God, they back up. Or any other so-called gods, that's where they have a problem. That's at the tabernacle. The media would have had a fit that there was only one door. That's the same idea that we see today with these with so many faiths and so many I'm trying to think of the right word. So many of these it's basically pluralism. It's way to the Father. All other roads